Her name was Linda, Pasadena, California, summer of 1953. She owned 2 swimsuits and wore the same one for 3 years. The waist never moved. Every woman at that pool did the same thing. Nobody taught them. They just knew. You bought 3 suits last summer, and none of them fit the same way twice. That's not a you problem. In 1958, DuPont introduced Lycra, and swimsuits went from structured, built-to-last garments to single-layer stretch. The rules disappeared with the suits that needed them. 9 rules. So basic, every 1950s woman knew them without thinking. So forgotten nobody said them out loud since. Rule 2 is the one Rose Marie Reed built an empire on. Stick around. They never left the pool deck without a cover-up. The moment Linda stepped off the concrete edge of the pool, the robe went on. It was cotton, belted at the waist, 2 patch pockets on the front, large enough for a paperback and a pair of sunglasses, white. It matched the swimsuit underneath the way a jacket matches a dress. Not accidentally, but because it was purchased that way, as part of the same thought. She had hung it on the back of the gate before getting in. It was warm from the afternoon sun when she pulled it back on, still holding the heat of the wood it had rested against all morning, and the belt left a faint pink mark across her wrist from being tied too tight on the walk over. There were no sarongs at that pool, no kaftans, no kimonos. Those words weren't in the American beach vocabulary yet. Sarongs and pareos didn't enter mainstream American swimwear culture until the 1970s. What existed in 1953 was simpler. A cotton or terry cloth robe, often matching the suit, sometimes in white or a coordinating stripe, belted or buttoned, with pockets. Some were smock style, flaring at the thigh like a short swing coat. Some had collars and lapels. All of them went on the moment the woman left the water. The swimsuit was for the pool deck, and the water. Everything beyond the pool gate required something else. This was not written anywhere. It did not need to be. Then the industry arrived. The cotton robe became resort wear. Resort wear became a trend category. The trend category became kaftans, beach kimonos, sheer wraps, luxury cover-ups at $60 and $80 and $120. Sold as something aspirational, a piece to style, a statement to make, a separate purchase with its own rack in the store, and its own editorial spread in the summer magazine. The industry waited until the cotton robe was forgotten. Then it sold the same instinct back, in silk, under a fashion house label, at a markup nobody questioned, because nobody remembered the robe. Linda walked back through the gate the way she had walked in, robe on, belt loose, pockets full. Nobody watched her go. There was nothing to watch. They bought a suit the way they bought a girdle, for fit, not fashion. Linda spent more time choosing her swimsuit than she spent choosing most of her dresses. She pressed the cups. She checked the back zipper. She sat down in the fitting room, stood up, and sat down again, because a suit that gapped at the back when she bent forward was a suit that didn't fit. She knew what she was buying. She was not buying fabric. She was buying structure. A 1950s swimsuit was an engineered garment, boning in the bodice, molded bra cups with Pellin firming, the same stiff interfacing used inside structured hats, tummy control panels in the front, stay-down legs with elasticized hem so the suit wouldn't ride up when she moved, a back zipper that cinched the whole thing closed like a second spine. Some women wore separate rubber swimming panties underneath for additional smoothing. The swimsuit was less about swimming and more about the line it made when you stood next to the water. Rose Marie Reed filed a U.S. patent in 1950 for an elastic one-piece without buttons. Her hourglass suit debuted in 1951 and became one of the decade's all-time bestsellers when Lord & Taylor displayed the line in their Fifth Avenue windows. Their competitor Saks Fifth Avenue called the company and ordered, in the same phone call, 1,000 suits of whatever they had, and 500 more for Palm Beach. Most swimwear at the time sold for around $6.95. A Rosemary Reed suit cost more. Women bought one. They wore it until it failed. Then Speedo introduced nylon to swimwear in 1956. Lighter, faster drying, cheaper to produce. The drift from engineered structure to single-layer stretch was slow at first, then total. The fast fashion swimsuit today is one layer of lycra, minimal lining, no boning, expected to last a season before it sags. The 6x9.95 suit built to last a decade became the $14.999 suit built to be replaced by summer's end. Not because the woman's needs changed, because volume is more profitable than durability. Linda's suit fit her the way it had on the day she bought it. 3 years in. She had never thought that was remarkable. They rinsed the suit in cold, fresh water the moment they got home, before the robe came off, before the shoes. The suit went under the tap first. Cold water, both hands pressing through the fabric, working it gently, not wringing, never twisting, just moving the water through until the smell of the pool was gone, then laid flat on a towel, pressed lightly into shape, and set in the shade to dry. The next morning it would be there, holding its exact form, dry and ready, as if it had never been in the water at all. Linda had learned this the way she had learned not to hang a cashmere sweater, not from a book, not from a class, but from her mother, the same way her mother had learned it from hers. It was fabric knowledge, common household sense. The lastex yarn in a 1950s suit was a rubber core wrapped in cotton or silk, developed in the 1940s and refined throughout the post-war years. It gave the suit its stretch and its shape. It was also the suit's most vulnerable element. Chlorine dissolved it from the outside in. Salt water degraded it more slowly, but just as completely. Cold, fresh water, applied immediately before the chemicals had time to set in the fiber, stopped both processes. If you wrung the suit or hung it by the straps, the weight would pull the elastic panels out of line. If you dried it in direct sun, the rubber core would begin to break down within a single season. Flat, in shade, the suit would last for years. A home economics pamphlet from the University of Alabama Extension Service in 1955 included swimsuit rinsing under warm weather garment care, filed between advice on laundering cotton and advice on storing wool coats. It was not treated as specialized knowledge. It was treated as obvious. The kind of thing that didn't need explaining to anyone who had paid good money for a good garment. The global swimwear market today is worth over $22 billion and is built almost entirely on a replacement cycle. Chlorine-resistant fabric, shape retention technology, and holds its form wash after wash are now premium product claims, printed on hang tags for suits priced at $80 and above. The industry didn't invent a solution. It made the suit cheap enough that care became pointless. Then it sold the protection back at a markup to women who no longer remembered the cold tap. Linda's suits lasted years. The cold water cost nothing. They matched the swim cap to the suit and treated it as part of the outfit. The cap Linda wore to that pool was white rubber, covered in raised petals that caught the afternoon light and cast small shadows across her forehead when she lifted her face out of the water. It matched the white of her cover-up. It had cost less than $1. She kept it on a small hook beside the back door, next to the suit, so that she would never leave without both. The idea of arriving at the pool without the cap was the idea of arriving in the wrong shoes. Not a disaster, but a visible gap in the outfit. Something that would bother her all afternoon. Swim caps in the 1950s were accessories, not afterthoughts. They came covered in rubber petals, geometric patterns, polka dots, and raised floral textures. Bright colors were popular. Pinks, aquas, yellows, chosen to coordinate with the suit the way earrings coordinate with a dress. Many public pools required caps for women with longer hair, but the requirement was almost beside the point. The real reason was the hairstyle. A 1950s set, the pin curls, the lacquer, the sculpted wave, represented real time and real money at the salon. Getting it wet was not an option. The cap protected the set. The set made the whole rest of the week's outfit viable. Off the water, the cap came off and the scarf went on. A large chiffon square, wrapped around the head and crossed under the chin, floating loose behind. It protected the hair from wind and sun without flattening the set. The straw hat came out for longer sun exposure. Wide brim, low crown, a full sun shield for the face and neck. Two different tools, two different moments. Neither of them was an accident. When public pools dropped mandatory cap requirements in the mid-1960s, driven partly by the rise of long hair among men, which made the rule impossible to enforce fairly, the fashionable swim cap collapsed with the rule. The portable blow dryer, introduced widely around 1964, made wet hair fixable in minutes, and the economic logic of protecting a set dissolved. The industry built the hair protection market back from nothing. Silk-lined swim caps, chlorine-neutralizing leave-in treatments, silk scrunchies marketed as swim-safe. But before any of that could be sold, women first had to be made to feel the ordinary rubber cap was insufficient, old-fashioned, ineffective, beneath them. The insecurity arrived before the product. It always does. The cap was still on the hook beside Linda's back door. She had never lost it. She had never needed to replace it. They never sat on a fabric surface in a wetsuit. If Linda got out of the pool and there was no towel on the chair, she stood. She didn't make a production of it. She simply stood on the warm concrete, feeling the sun on her shoulders and the water working slowly down the back of her legs, and waited until she found her towel. The concrete was rough underfoot in the particular way of post-war pool decks, sun-pale and slightly gritty, and she knew the exact texture of it the way you know the floor of a room you have stood in 100 times. Then she dried off, wrapped the towel around her waist, and sat down. The cushion beneath her stayed dry. It had never occurred to her that this was discipline. It was just the obvious sequence of things. There is a line from an 1896 Philadelphia Times column on beach etiquette, uncovered by researchers and published decades later, that reads plainly, "Don't sit in the sand in a wet bathing suit." By 1953, the instruction had been absorbed so completely that it no longer appeared in print anywhere. It didn't need to. Women brought a specific towel for sitting, not the large beach towel used for drying off, but a second one, folded and set on the chair before they went in the water. The rule extended to car seats on the drive home. It extended to restaurant chairs if they stopped somewhere along the way. A wet suit on fabric was a social failure. You managed it before it became someone else's problem. The quick-dry and fast-dry swimwear fabric category is now a significant marketing segment of the global swimwear industry. Quick-dry mesh panels, technical microfiber constructions, suits that promise to be dry in 20 minutes, presented as an innovation born from performance research. They solve a problem. The wet suit on the chair problem. The same problem a folded towel placed on a seat before getting in the water had already solved for free, without any product at all. for every woman who showed up at a pool in 1953. Linda placed her towel on the chair before she got in. When she got out, the chair was dry. It was. They tanned in timed sessions, and then they stopped. Linda tanned in the morning. Before 11, she had a chair that she set at a specific angle to catch the eastern light, and she stayed in it for a fixed amount of time. 45 minutes, maybe an hour, turning once, then sitting up, pulling the cover-up back on, and moving into the shade. The back of her neck was cool the moment the cotton hit it. She didn't think of what she was doing as strategy. She thought of it as common sense. The morning sun bronzed. The midday sun burned. These were different things, and the line between them was not complicated. Coppertone was founded in 1944 by pharmacist Benjamin Green and became iconic in the 1950s with the slogan, "Tan, don't burn." The product was marketed as a way to achieve a faster, deeper tan, not as sun protection in any modern sense. SPF ratings did not exist as a category until 1962. What women had in 1953 was timing, shade, and the understanding that the sun between 11 in the morning and 3 in the afternoon was the sun that cost you something. The sun care market today generates billions in annual revenue and spans nearly every skincare category. SPF moisturizers, SPF lip balms, SPF primers, SPF setting sprays, SPF body serums, daily SPF for the tops of the hands. The knowledge underneath all of it: avoid the midday sun, limit your session, cover up when you're done, is the same knowledge Linda already had in 1953. Coppertone's original formula claimed to let in only the UV rays that promote tanning and keep out the ones that burn. Dermatologists now confirm that was medically inaccurate. The industry sold a product built on a false promise first, built a fear industry around the consequences, then repackaged the original knowledge as expert advice, and sold that back too, attached to every product on the shelf. Linda came in from the sun just before 11. She put the cover-up back on. She never burned once that anyone could remember. They chose the straps deliberately and took them off for tanning. The suit Linda wore to the pool that summer had 2 straps that unbuttoned from small loops sewn inside the bodice. They took 3 seconds to remove. She did this every time she lay down to tan, and reattached them every time she sat up to swim. It was not a complicated maneuver. It was simply what the suit was designed for. Detachable straps were a standard feature of 1950s swimwear. Claire McCardle pioneered the removable crossover strap design. Straps that could be worn normally, crossed at the back for a different silhouette, or removed entirely and tucked inside for a strapless line. Other suits had straps that buttoned onto small interior loops, or elastic loops that held them flat against the bodice when not in use. The reason was not complicated. Strap marks were a social liability. A woman who wore strapless evening dresses, and most women did, at dances, at dinners, at summer parties, could not walk into a room with 2 pale diagonal lines across her shoulders. The suit solved the problem before it was a problem. The engineering answered the social question in the same motion. The industry unbundled them. Convertible swimwear as a separate category. Adhesive bra cups for strapless women, sold by the sheet. Backless tape marketed specifically for pool use. Stick-on structured cups. Clear strap systems. Each piece solving part of the problem the original suit had already solved in full, at no additional cost, in a single integrated garment. The industry separated what was once one decision into 4 or 5 individual purchases. Then it sold each piece back to the woman who had once paid for the whole solution. In one transaction, Linda unbuttoned the straps and set them on the edge of the chair. 3 seconds. She put them back on before she got in the water. 3 more. They dried the suit flat. Never on a hanger, never in the dryer. After the cold rinse, the suit went on a flat towel. Linda pressed the cups back into shape with both hands. working gently, smoothing the boning flat, aligning the side panels so they dried in the exact position they were meant to hold. Then she set it in the shade and left it alone. By the following morning, it would be ready, exactly as it had been the day before, the shape intact, the elastic firm. This was not a specialized technique. It was the same logic as drying a wool sweater flat. Everybody knew that hanging a heavy knit garment by the shoulders meant pulling it out of shape and never getting it back. A 1950s swimsuit had the same structural requirements. Hang the suit by the straps, and the weight of the wet fabric would stretch the elastic panels out of true. Put it in a dryer, and the heat would begin to break down the rubber core of the lastex yarn. Put it in direct sun, and the same process accelerated, flat, in shade, gently. It was in the same category of household knowledge as not wringing wool or not ironing silk with too much heat. Fabric literacy. The common knowledge that came from owning things you intended to keep. Premium swimwear today carries hang tags describing engineered compression technology and memory elastic construction, suits at $80 and $120, marketed specifically on the claim that they hold their shape wash after wash. The language implies this is something new, something only expensive material science can provide. What it describes is a suit that behaves the way every well-cared-for suit behaved in 1953. The knowledge was replaced not by better fabric, but by cheaper fabric, and a shorter expected lifespan. The industry sold the replacement cycle first, then it sold the premium product back as the antidote. Linda's suit dried overnight, flat in the shade, pressed back into itself. It fit the same on day 400 as it had on day 1. They owned 2 suits. They wore both of them until they were done. Linda had 2. One was a deep rose, structured boning in the bodice, small buttons at the back of the neck, a modesty panel across the front of the leg opening that she'd bought in 1951. The other was black with white trim at the sweetheart neckline, a back zipper, cups she'd had relined at a tailor because the Pellin firming had softened after 4 years. She saw no reason to replace it. The tailor charged her 60 cents. The suit was otherwise perfect. There was no such thing in 1953 as a swimsuit wardrobe. Not for Linda. Not for anyone she knew. A swimsuit was closer in construction to a tailored dress than to a piece of sportswear. Boning, lined cups, lastex panels, back zipper, built-in foundation. You bought it for your body. It was fitted to your size, structured for your shape. Rosemary Reed's factories went from producing 1,000 suits per day in 1952 to 10,000 per day by 1959. Not because the suits were disposable, but because more women wanted them, and word had spread. Her company grossed $18.1 million by 1960 on quality alone. The suit was the product. It was meant to last. The modern swimwear market is projected to reach nearly $26 billion by 2033. It is driven almost entirely by seasonal drops, trend cycles of 6 to 8 weeks, and a replacement model that treats each summer as a fresh purchase occasion. The bikini, which Rosemary Reed refused to design when her company pushed her toward it, in 1963, she left over exactly that disagreement. Required no structure, no engineering, no boning, no lining. It was cheaper to make and faster to replace. The industry did not choose it because it served the woman better. It chose it because volume is more profitable than durability. The $6.95 engineered suit became the $14.99 single-layer piece. That became the $180 luxury suit marketing shape, retention as innovation, selling back what was once simply standard. Linda relined her black suit at the tailor in 1955. She wore it for 3 more summers after that. 7 summers in total, that suit. She pulled it out of the drawer on a Tuesday in June, held it up to the window to check the elastic at the legs, and decided it had one more summer left in it. She was right.